I'm so thankful you've joined us today on My New Day. Dr. Doug Weiss is with us, and we have just seen so many of you respond to yesterday's program where we opened up this entire series called Married and Alone, because you think, how does that make sense? If you're married, you're not alone. Many people, Bob, are feeling alone in their marriages.
They do, and I don't want them to think for a moment, that this is the way it has to be, and a lot of times the biggest feeling is I feel alone and nobody knows, nobody understands me.
Exactly.
And whenever I try to explain, the complications that we have behind closed doors, nobody would get me, because on the outside, everything looks so good, but the dysfunction behind the closed door is haunting. Today, we have with us Dr. Doug Weiss.
Yes.
He's the founder and president of Heart to Heart Counseling Ministries in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and he is a clinical psychologist and really helping us. And he's been a New Day favorite for many, many years, and he just, again, continues to hear the voice of God.
Yes.
He's willing to get into the ditches with all of us.
Yes.
And he says, okay, I want to hear from God. God, help me. Help me get your redemptive power to us in our everyday lives. And so one of his newest books is entitled Married and Alone. And today you're going to discover
I want you to
alone.
Feel so loved today. Now help us welcome Dr. Doug Weiss to the program.
Well, it's so good to be back.
We are so thankful for you.
I love having you around.
We love
Thanks.
you.
Well, I love you too very much, and how you minister to your nation is just so overwhelming, how you're pastoring a group of people.
Yes, we love it.
And it's a family.
It happens.
It's very cool.
It really happens.
You know what, Doug, as we start today, I want to just regroup what happened yesterday. You described someone called sexually anorexic.
No, intimacy anorexic.
Oh, sorry, I did it wrong.
Anorexic,
Okay,
that's fine.
Intimacy anorexic,
Yeah.
and you describe someone who really makes sure there's constant distance between you and your spouse.
Yes.
And I know we're going to get into a lot of issues of what kind of pain this produces in a relationship.
Yes, it does.
But before we start, what would ever cause, I don't want to spend too much time, but what would cause that? Is it sexual abuse or?
Well, that's one of them. Sexual abuse is one of them, Audrey, and so is sexual addiction. So if the guy's often doing porn, he doesn't attach to his spouse. The other is attachment disorder with a cross-gender parent. So if you're a woman, you didn't attach to dad because dad wasn't there or available. Or if you're a girl, or if you're a boy, you didn't attach to mom. The other is really role modeling. Anorexia, where mom and dad they were in different rooms and they didn't connect.
So you never got modeled in marriage.
And you never got attached to as a person either. They managed you as a child, not related to you. Okay, so you don't know how to do intimacy. When it shows up, you're like, ooh, that's kind of scary. And so you back up. So there's 4 causes of that. But you introduced Bob. I mean, that's exactly right. I'm in the ditch every day and I love it. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Okay, but that's because God shows up there. And this is something we've seen, this intimacy anorexia in marriages, Christian marriages where they feel unloved, unheard, untouched. And the pain that you talked about is really, really real. To feel unloved, to feel untouched, to be alone. We call it married alone because you're alone oftentimes spiritually. Now, how do you think it feels to be a spouse of someone who's a great Christian but doesn't pray with you? See what I'm saying? How does it feel to be married alone to someone who can share their heart with other people but doesn't share their heart with you? I was talking to a lady just this week, and she says, my husband will come home and tell me about all the conversations he had, but I'll never find out who he was in all of that conversation. He doesn't tell me about him.
But doesn't that just make someone feel so rejected? Because everyone else gets the best him.
Oh, absolutely. Even the dog gets more love than you. Absolutely.
Like really, you're going to give the dog that much attention?
I've had women and men say the dog gets love more than I do.
I've heard that a lot.
You know what I'm saying? Well, when you hear that, this is what you're dealing with. Married and alone.
Right.
Okay? Because he walks in, he pets a dog, or she walks in and pets a dog, but they don't even say, hey, honey, how are you? I love you. Let me pet you a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Do you want to go for a walk?
That's right. Want to go for a walk? Want to play? They don't get that. Okay? And they feel
caring for our dog is still a chore.
Right.
Okay, but taking care of you is my love. Okay.
Okay.
Just to let you know, the dog is still a chore.
I think he's clarifying that just because he really loves.
We got a great dog.
Yeah.
And then Bob loves that dog, and that dog loves Bob.
But it still works
a lot.
That's right.
Yeah.
But he loves me even more.
Amen.
Oh yeah.
And that's the way it should be. But that's not the way everybody feels, Bob and Audrey.
Right.
Sometimes you feel like everybody's loved more than you. The ministry, the church, the school, the kids, the workouts, the hobbies, the car project, you know what I'm saying?
You
your
are hitting home,
girlfriends,
Doug.
your mommy and daddy, everybody's ahead of me. And if you're feeling last on the list, you're on the right show today. because you're married and alone. You're married to someone who probably has intimacy anorexia, and they may not know why, but they do. Okay, and you can start getting against. So you feel alone emotionally, you feel alone spiritually, and then oftentimes you feel alone sexually. You can feel alone parenting-wise, like you're doing everything and the other person's not involved and not checked into what's going on. You know, you can feel alone in the house, like they don't feel like they're part of the whole household management dynamic, things that need to get done.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? They're flipping channels, or they're on the computer, or they're on their phone,
but they're not part of what's going on in
and
the
even
house.
if you go on a date, they're like not with you the whole time. You know,
I have seen this more often with couples in their second and third marriages, and it's almost as though they have finally discovered somebody where they can just be roommates.
Absolutely, and if you can find two people who want to drink the same beer, you can have a perfect marriage. Dysfunctional, but perfect.
Oh my goodness.
You know what I'm saying? And she's like, what did he just say?
Are you saying?
I'm not suggesting that's the best method, okay? But if you're going to be dysfunctional, find someone else who's dysfunctional so you're not putting someone healthy in pain.
Because you're saying two intimacy anorexic people can actually survive together.
They do. They live for quite a long time, but usually about in the 20 years of marriage, they both feel like, what are we doing and why are we doing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even there, so it doesn't work.
So it lasts a long time.
And if one person gets better, it really messes the whole thing up.
Yes.
It's just like if one person stops drinking, it messes the whole thing up.
Yeah.
So we're not made to be intimacy anorexic. God designed us for a relationship with Him and relationship with our spouse, relationship with our families. So this is not just a healing for them in the marriage. It can be a healing for them in their relationship with God. Because you're as close to God as you are your spouse. You can be religious, but if you're not connected, it's a whole other issue. So this is God healing and bringing healing to the marriages in My New Day family, so that they can have a relationship with God better, a relationship with each other better, okay? And that's what God desires. So what you guys desire. That's why you don't sit here because you don't have something else to do. You sit here because you love people.
Right. Yeah.
And you want them to see a better life, okay?
Yes.
And so then there's the alone sex thing. Now that's probably got to be the worst alone there is.
Yeah. I just want to run through the list that I have
Sure.
here. We got roommates, emotionally alone.
Emotionally alone.
Okay. And again, you know, to be able to share your emotions with somebody else, a lot of times it's like, I've had enough. You don't have to understand it. Sometimes you just need to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay. And you talked about spiritually, alone in the home. Alone. Let's talk about this one, alone in parenting.
Yeah, you know, when you're disconnected from your spouse, that leaves you kind of disconnected from everything else that's going on. And so what happens is the man or woman may be really proficient in something, but they don't really know their teachers' names. They don't know their kids' friends. They don't know what's going on with their heart. They don't know if they're struggling with rebellion or if they're just having their daughter started their menstrual cycle. They are clueless of what's really happening inside this relationship.
And they're not asking questions. They're not inquiring. They don't care.
And they really would rather not be burdened.
Is that kind of what it is? Bottom line, they just don't care.
It goes deeper than that. Now it's on the spouse's side. It feels that there's a level of indifference. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes.
Just like it would if you're married to an alcoholic, it feels very personal. But they'd be an alcoholic no matter who they married. It's not personal. It's just business. And the business of an anorexic is to maintain distance. So it's not so much that they don't care, but caring would cause them to be close.
Ah. And then, of course, there's the problem.
So you're asking me to spend emotional money that I don't want to. I know I have it. Oh, I have it. I don't want to spend it. Okay? We all come with the ability to be intimate if we want to be. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? Here's a test, Audrey. So I have a guy or a gal. Doesn't matter because anorexia shows up in either version, right? And they're saying how they don't understand their spouse, blah, blah. So, okay, now suppose Bob was to say, okay, so Bob, let me see. If I put a gun to your head, I happen to have one, and I ask you how to love your wife, could you tell me in 30 seconds?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no. I don't want to ruin the fun for you, okay? So, but you see what I'm saying? But an anorexic...
Go ahead, just
ask me, but don't put the gun to my head.
Yeah, let's talk about that later.
All right,
okay,
go ahead.
So, but an anorexic knows how to love, and they know the love language of their spouse 100% of the time I ask them.
Really? Every single time?
They choose not to love. Okay? That's insane for normal people. But it makes perfect sense to them because the love may have been to been hurt, to love may have been to been abused, to love may have been to be unwanted and rejected, so why love? Do you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So they got messed up along the way, and it makes sense to them why they do this. It doesn't make sense to someone on the outside.
No.
And it feels very cold and different, but that's the spirit of that.
Interesting.
And are they creating then for themselves a place of safety?
Yeah, a place of safety at the expense of the other person.
Okay.
I'm safe, you're in pain.
Okay. You talk about being untouched, unspoken to, unheard, unknown.
Absolutely. Because when you're in a relationship, I mean, you guys are married long enough. I mean, we're about the same age, about the same length of marriage. You learn a lot about your spouse over the years. They learn a lot about themselves over the years. There's things you learned about you this year that you didn't know were there. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And you're on this like terrific journey of, wow, didn't know the rock was there. Didn't know there was water there. Didn't know that gift was even there. Wow, that's pretty cool. Didn't know I could draw. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so when you're in a real relationship, these discoveries are constant. Do you see what I'm saying? When you're in a relationship with someone who's anorexic, they don't discover you. They don't learn you. Because you are a function, you're not a soul. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's very painful when you're the person on the other side trying to be a soul.
Yeah.
You know, love me, touch me, connect with me. You know I like this. And you know, if you're a spouse and you've given your husband or wife a list of these 3 things mean I love you, and they only do it when they're in trouble, and they refuse to do it day in, day out, you're married and alone.
Gotcha. Let me just help people today, just real quick. Yesterday we talked about a problem. Today we're talking about the pain. Okay, so as Doug is talking today, you're saying, wow, this is a lot of pain, this is a lot of pain. Tomorrow we will be talking about the solution.
All solutions.
Okay? All solutions.
Let's talk about being celebrated. You talked before, this is another part of the idea.
Yeah, and so someone who's married alone feels uncelebrated.
Okay.
Like, you know, you do Valentine's together, you do your anniversary, you come up with little things, you have your little rituals. Every normal couple does. The anorexic tends to sabotage these events. Christmas has become painful. Your birthday has been forgotten again. You only got a card and nothing that mattered to you. Your gifts seem like anybody could have bought them for you, not someone who knows you. Do you see what I'm saying? If you get gifts as an anorexic, okay, because they tend to be tight there. And so your accomplishments don't seem to be celebrated. Everyone else goes, wow, you're amazing. You come home and they go, well, no big deal. Do you see? Vacations can be murder. Because vacations, what? You live in bigger or smaller quarters? Smaller.
That's
right?
true, yeah.
You go rent a room, right?
Right.
There's some insanity about Western culture.
Yes.
Let's go spend money to live in a smaller space. Okay. Okay.
I never thought about it that way.
But, you know, we don't have to make sense. We're people. Right. So, you know, eventually the kingdom of God will come and it will all come to... So anyway, so we do vacations. So we're in a smaller space. And the anorexic intuitively knows there's going to be this request for intimacy, spiritually, emotionally, and or sexually. Get the kids out of the room, let's have, right? And so what they do is on vacation, they'll sabotage the vacation before it occurs and have a big old fight or fuss so they know that you're not going to ask for anything during the vacation. After vacation is over, they become normal again. And they'll avoid you on vacation. Wow. It's like a photo op instead of feeling like you really connected and invested in time with each other. So again, these are times when the relationship should be celebrated, but the anorexic intentionally pulls back so that there's not celebration because that celebration would bring closeness. And I know it doesn't make sense unless you're living it. There's a certain amount of your audience right now is like, what is he talking about? I am so happy for you that you're loved and you're celebrated, you're touched and you're wanted, you're desired. Yeah. You ought to thank God and please support this ministry because there's lots of people who are not like you, okay? But there's some people right now, this is the first time they felt heard, the first time they felt loved, first time they felt understood without shame.
And they're in a puddle of tears.
And they're in pain.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're gonna have this. They're gonna send this show to every place they can, to their friends. Say, this is what I'm living. Right. Okay. So appreciate you doing this for them. So this is the pain, unfortunately.
Okay. Talk about sex. How does this play out in the whole sexual realm?
Some intimacy anorexics don't mind having sex, but they're disconnected during sex. You know, lights are off. They're disconnected. They're thinking about the laundry. They're thinking about other things. There are some anorexics who avoid sex. Now, the way this can happen is maybe that person doesn't initiate. Okay, you've been married for 30 years, you can remember twice when they were drunk when they initiated sex, okay? You're probably married to an intimacy anorexic, okay? Because it should be somewhat proportional that you're both initiating. Yeah. Yes. Okay? Or they don't really talk about sex. Like every 5 years you get the courage to talk about sex and they say, that's all you want to talk about. Okay.
What?
Yeah, you know couples like yes, totally, right? Yeah, you met these people, okay? And so that's a sign of intimacy anorexia. Or they'll sabotage sex. Things are going really fine. We had a good day. Things look like we're going to head that way. And boom, let's talk about something that I know that's going to really chap you. Okay? They sabotage sex. Okay? Or there's the before, during, and after feeling like I really want to, but is this going to hurt? Am I going to feel empty afterwards, or am I going to feel closer afterwards? Are they just going to like let me have sex with them, or are they going to engage? There's a feelings of apprehension before sex. During sex, you may feel alone or disconnected, or like,
what's this?
Yeah, really. So, and afterwards there can be this aloneness. Okay, that wasn't really mutual, and it wasn't really connect, and it really wasn't about a relationship. You got to sneeze, good for you, but I didn't get anything.
Right.
Okay, and so what happens is, so the very sacred place where a couple, only that couple can be, is defiled by this intentional creating of distance, and that's very painful. Because I've had women who were beauty contest winners. I've had men who could have easily been on GQ, ripped abs, strong build, all this stuff, and yet they're rejected. They're unwanted. They're untouched. And it is insane. So if you're married and alone and you feel like you're not,
it's because of what you look like.
It is insane, and it doesn't matter what you look like.
No,
they would reject any prototype of beauty you put into their life. They would reject because it will require intimacy for them to be in a relationship. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know it makes sense in its own insane way.
Yeah.
Because I live this every week.
And as you're speaking, I'm actually thinking of people that we're helping right now, and I'm thinking, it's turning lights on. I'm like, that's why. That's making sense.
And so many people who work with couples, this book can help. Counselors, pastors, all of it, because you are seeing it in your office and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Married and alone, is there a place where this individual, okay, they're feeling very, very alone in the relationship, and it's almost as though they've been trying to perform. Does the anorexic keep putting performance wheels in front of them? Okay.
Bigger hoops.
Okay.
And you jump them. You lost the 10 pounds, you cleaned the house, you got your hair colored, you got the surgery, you didn't do this, you did do that, but it keeps moving. And you think that, okay, I'm going to be loved at some point. And this is about where the 10-year mark comes in. Because a man or woman kind of goes 10 years of jumping hoops, and then they realize, I've jumped a lot of hoops, and I still haven't gotten loved. It's like going on a job and never getting paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have that, where's the beef? It doesn't show up. Unless I threaten the marriage, because the anorexic wants to protect the image of being normal. Okay, so the threat of being normal is threatened, so they'll come in and try to secure that. But feeling like, hey, I'm just being loved for being me, it doesn't happen. And so, yes, there's that constant being on a treadmill, feeling like you're on a treadmill to be loved, and you don't get off because you don't ever get what you really want, which is this, how are you?
Yeah.
I love you. You're amazing.
Yeah. Will the threat of divorce ever be used against them?
Yeah, and then that's tricky, though, because if it's only a threat and the anorexic smells that, then they're not going to play nice. And
no, I'm saying, does the anorexic ever use a threat of divorce?
They don't want
to separate.
He says that they want to appear normal. They actually have a drive to appear normal.
Audrey's totally right here.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
In 20 years plus of counseling intimacy anorexics, I've never had an intimacy anorexic file for divorce.
Oh.
Now, starving their spouse and making their spouse insane and crazy, that they're willing to do.
Gotcha.
Because then the anorexic becomes the victim in the divorce. I can blame your mom. I can blame.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
But is that the no,
they want to be married and not.
They do want to be married.
They want to be married and look normal, but not love the spouse.
Wow. So they want to be married.
They want to look normal.
They want to look normal. That's the status quo. There we go. And they want to have their kids and the family.
It's an image.
Wow.
So you understand, there's people who have image. So it's really the image.
And that's why you said yesterday, many of these people have the success, the beauty, the money, everything else. They look great on the outside.
They look great.
And these are the ones that are...
And I've had men and women say, listen, this is going to cost me $3 million or $5 million to get divorced, but I need to be loved one day, Dr. Weiss. I want to live one day where I'm loved. I've been married for 25 years, run a successful company, but I want a woman to smile when she looks at me. Wow. It's just that. And the woman says the same thing. I just want someone to come home and say, I love you. I want to take you upstairs. I want to play with you. Let's have fun. Let's get rid of those kids. You're important. And she doesn't hear those words.
Wow, thank you. Today has, for a lot of us, we've recognized the wound, okay? And there's been a lot of pain in your life, and you've covered the wound, you've protected the wound, that type of thing. But then today, Dr. Weiss has come and touched it. And he says, simply because I love you and I understand where you are, and I want to bring healing. I want to bring some solutions to you, and we will do that in tomorrow's program.
Yes.
But we're going to come back right after this break. I'm going to tell you exactly how to get a copy of the book, Married and Alone. It's going to help you to understand, where you are, and it's going to give you those practical steps and solutions in your journey to wholeness. And so I want you to get that. But we're going to come back, and Dr. Weiss is going to, just speak some real hope and confidence to your heart.
And I just, as we go for a break, I just want to know that this whole 25 minutes, you are being loved. You are being loved. God is singing his song over you, and you've been scared to listen to it because you're scared to put your hope that you are actually lovable. But you are being loved right now. Just begin, even just during this break, just lift up your hand and say, thank you, God, that you love me. You love me. That's an important step for you to know that you are being loved.
Good. Thank you, Audrey. We'll be right back.
A house is made of walls and beams.
A home is built with love and dreams. The dream of a happy home full of God's love isn't just a dream, but God's intention for you. Here at My New Day, we will pray for you, believe in your dream, and get you the tools to invest and build your marriage and family.
This book by Dr. Doug Weiss, Married and Alone, will help you understand sexual anorexia and the mysterious condition of feeling alone in your marriage. Plus this 3-program series on both CD and DVD. Today, your prayer has been answered. It's time now to discover answers and healing for you.
Order your bundle today, available for your gift of $40 or more to the ministry of My New Day.
As you give, you're fighting for families and making sure that more and more homes experience God's presence.
Call 1-800-556-3533 or visit mynewday.tv. Shipping is always included.
It is a new day for your family. Continue believing God with your dream.
We are so thankful that you have joined us today. Today's show has been great. We really hope that you've enjoyed it. Real quick, we just want to talk to you about our daily devotional. If you haven't signed up for that you need to do it right now.
So what it is, it's a devotional for every single day of the week, and it applies to the show that's on that day. So on Monday, you get a daily devotional emailed to you that's about the show that's being broadcasted that day. So what's awesome about it is you can watch the show, you can take notes, but then you can go to the daily devotional and read through it again, maybe learn some things that you actually missed when you were listening to the show, maybe just see some scriptures that really apply to what the guest is speaking about. But what it really is about is just helping you get even more close and deeper to the heart of God and just your understanding even more.
It's also a great way that you can help encourage others. I've done this before. What you got to do is just forward that email to somebody that you think might really enjoy that. We don't know what you're going through. We don't know what your friends are going through, but you do, and you can be that beacon of hope. And one way you can do that is just forward those daily devotionals to your friends and family if they really could
use encouragement.
Yeah, use encouragement.
So we hope that you sign up for our new devotional. It's www.mynewday.tv. Sign up for it today, and you will not regret it. You'll love these devotionals.
Intimacy is a result of a known set of disciplines. Anybody can have it who's willing to work for it. Even if you're starting at 0.0, you can have it 100%.
Love it.
Okay? So even if you're intimacy anorexic,
you know what that does? It takes the scariness out of intimacy right now, because some people hear the word intimacy and say, I have no clue where to go. But if you can tell me that if I put certain disciplines into place, I will get there,
absolutely,
that makes me feel like it's safe there. Okay, well then I'll even go there in this conversation.
Just like losing weight or saving money. You can do it with this different set of disciplines.
There are over 500,000 people in Argentina who live in substandard conditions, and we can help. Frank Couch told our New Day family about the Voice Bible, a dramatic translation that reads like a story with all the truth and wisdom of God's Word. Today, fellow believers in Argentina are creating beautiful handcrafted leather covers for the Voice Bible. Each cover is unique and hand-painted. For your generous gift to New Day Ministries, you are not only helping with the home mission of reaching precious people with God's love, but we have the opportunity of bringing hope by creating jobs with fair wages so that men and women can feed their families.
El material que estamos trabajando para la funda es muy buena calidad y en realidad lo estamos haciendo con todo el amor con el Señor.
This is the perfect gift. Every household needs one, and it's an incredible opportunity to bring honor and dignity to our precious family in Argentina. Call today and order your unique hand-painted leather Bible. Thank you for your generosity. Together we are changing the world. Call 1-800-556-3533.
Hello, I'm Jim Richardson. I want to invite you to be a part of this New Day family. What an incredible opportunity to take the gospel to Canada through television and then through the entire world through internet. You will help us change lives all over the world.
As we close the program, I know that you are reaching out to God in a way, because we've tapped onto some pain that you are experiencing, that you've tried to pretend it's not there, but today you've listened and went, that's me. I'm living alone, even though I'm married. So we've asked Dr. Doug to help us what we can do today to help to this situation.
Well, you know, one of the things, I really appreciate you guys letting us talk about this, because I know it hurts. To even talk about it, it hurts, okay? But I want to say to you at home that, you know, if this is you, you are lovable. Audrey's right. You are worth being loved. And today God's reaching out to you saying, I heard your prayers. I heard your pain. I see the neglect. I see what you're going through. And I want to help you. And I'm telling you, He really does want to help you. Now, you might need to get educated and get informed for you to be helped. That's okay. And this journey might be a journey. It's not an instant thing. But you're worthy of the love, you're worthy of being discovered, you're worthy of being loved and touched and celebrated and all those kind of things. But you have to believe that too, not just your spouse. So as you believe that, it shifts the whole thing. When you start really saying, I am lovable, it shifts the whole relationship, where he or she will have to decide if they agree with you or not. Because how can two walk together unless they be agreed? What I want for you to do today, don't agree that you're unlovable. I want you to agree with me right now. And just even in your spirit, in your mind, in your heart, even in your voice if you can, say, I am so lovable, and I demand to be loved. And if you do that, things can shift in your heart and change the dynamics.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
I'm so glad that that's what we're doing today. That's perfect.
All of a sudden you become a receptor of that.
Yes.
Be a receiver of that love. You're so worth it. With us again tomorrow is Dr. Doug Weiss. We're going to begin to talk about some real solutions for you. Thanks for being with us, and thank you to our New Day family for financially involving yourself and bringing hope to others. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.